Hey guys, welcome to Classic. Today we're going to talk about BRICS and how it operates as an insurance policy against U.S. sanctions. As we all know, the U.S. has been using sanctions as a weapon against countries that don't align with its foreign policy objectives. This has led to countries like Russia, China, and Iran to look for alternatives to the U.S. dollar and the global financial system that is dominated by the West. Enter BRICS, a trade bloc made up of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries have been working together to create their own reserve currency and to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. This is a major threat to the West and to the U.S. dollar dominance, you will say. However, even though BRICS has become purposely the new alternative to the West dominance in global trade, politics, and economic, the countries' makeup of the new trade bloc are questionable. Is all the countries in the BRICS bloc interested in cordial alliance with one another? Or is it a situation of one or two of these countries viewing the BRICS alliance as a platform to achieve her hidden objective? In a closer scenaric look, China, from history trading with developing nations such as African nations, have shown to practice borrow and own the nation tactics. Russia, on the other hand, is notable in strawman-like practice. China is looking for a dependable market for her goods. And BRICS, with nations involved, cannot 100% offer such demand. Beijing, essentially, is looking for access to Western markets and consumers that she can deal with on her own terms. Therefore, Beijing does not see BRICS as a framework to be strengthened through equal alliance with the other nations. Rather, she sees BRICS as a stepping stone to global economic dominance. It will be right to say that China is not anticipating creating an alternative to the Western-dominated global trade regiment. She is rather striving to use BRICS to upstage the West and gain control of the existing global economic order, GEO. China will not be stupid to be the highest financier of the BRICS bloc and will allow other nations with fewer financial capability or contribution to the bloc to have equal say and control in the BRICS organization policy and operation. This is equivalent to a mafia organization offering protection to a business owner and will not be expecting a very large financial payment as fee from the store owner. The borrow and own the nation tactics is China's clandestine style of funding infrastructure in countries with governments that cannot repay the loans. This strategy can be coined in another way as debt trap diplomacy, DTD. DTD is a way China gains national assets in recipient countries that she eventually used to expand her dominance and military expansion and presence around the globe. Russia, as the second higher financier of BRICS after China sees the alliance as a bloc, she can directly be involved in operating, thus having the leverage to do whatever she so pleases without any objections. Also, she sees BRICS as a perfect allies to use to escape the West global economic trade sanctions. Russia sees BRICS as a countering alliance bloc to the Western developing agenda of practicing sanction, denial, and restriction act. This ambition of Russia with BRICS plays out today in how the members of the bloc fail to criticize Russia in the ongoing war with Ukraine, where so many lives have been lost too these days. BRICS was started with the anticipation that Russia and China will lead the bloc by leveraging their advanced economics to benefit the other members of the bloc. Such mentality or mindset position Russian role in the alliance as a founding president, which comes with a big influence. And today, Russia is exercising that influence in managing BRICS development. India is an emerging nation with economic dominant potentials, and closely trailing China and Russia in terms of economic and trade strength. India sees the bloc as a great place to advance her global economic network and strength. Nonetheless, her close border dispute with China at Jammu and Kashmir create doubts on the seriousness of the bloc to truly be an alliance with common interest. Brazil and South Africa are junior members in the BRICS bloc in terms of economic power and reach. By staying as members of the BRICS bloc means that Brazil and South Africa must support China and Russia when the two later countries participate in behavior that violate human rights and abuses. Without a doubt, Brazil and South Africa need the BRICS collaboration and ties considering the difficult economic and financial situation the countries are facing at home. But as Russia and China, the major geopolitical leading members of the bloc, are pursuing their own separate invested interests, it is uncertain how Brazil and South Africa will enjoy the membership privileges when the risks of belonging to the bloc seems to outweigh. One important question to ask here is, if the divergent in interests, with two member countries in open conflict with each other, and the geopolitical situation in individual countries, Ecozone will allow nations such as China, Russia, and India to wholeheartedly commit to the BRICS success. The manifestos of the bloc flowing around on the internet and social media, and the already drafted versions showing promising future for the bloc, cannot for now show the sign of long-term success until the bloc after some years down the road in operating and existing. The manifesto is equivalent to a politician vying for political office manifesto. All the things mentioned in the manifesto that the politician promised to do once he or she is elected into the position will not be done as promised. Once the politician gets elected into the position, he or she will start modifying and changing what was promised in the manifesto. It will be important to note here that BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is an acronym created by Goldman Sachs back in about 2014 period. The acronym was started as an investment gimmicks that turned into a formal international grouping. At the onset, the acronym seemed to be a geopolitical absurdity, something that is not seriously thought of to have any value or potential. In fact, in 2014, Putin urged BRICS to draw substantive conclusions from the sanctions imposed on Russia over its annexation of Crimea. Since then, BRICS has been working to create a more independent financial system that is not controlled by the West. This is where gold comes in. Countries like Russia and China have been buying up gold as a way to protect themselves against the US dollar and to reduce their dependence on the global financial system. As Sharma said, the main reason for the shift to gold has been the increased use of sanctions as a weapon by the US and its allies. By joining together, BRICS countries are demonstrating that these sanctions are not motivated by any one country's foreign policy objectives. Rather, they are acting in their own interests and working together to create a more stable and independent financial system. But the important concern is on if democracy will ever be practiced once the bloc officially start operating as an alliance, considering the divergent in interests amongst the member countries, the border dispute between two of the bloc member countries, and the behavior of Russia in engaging in war with Ukraine. Thank you for listening and reading this review and opinion composition. For the references, kindly visit the page on this video. You should find the references at the end of this video. Leave you comments below on how informative the video is to you. Every other kind of comment about this video and its content are welcome. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.